Welcome to The Gorgeous Effect, the podcast that's about to rock your marketing world. I'm Julie Chanel, and with my co-founder, Cathy Olson, we're the masterminds behind Funnel Gorgeous and FG Funnels. We're about to drop some serious tea on how to create funnels that not only look amazing, but actually convert into customers. We'll chat mouth-watering offers, copy, design, and give you an inside look of some of our best and worst funnels. No smoke and mirrors, just real strategies that work from two ladies who have been around the funnel block. So grab your coffee or something stronger, we won't judge, and get ready to unleash the gorgeous effect on your business. It's time to show the world what you've got. Let's do this. Hey everyone, this is Julie and Cathy. Welcome back to another episode of The Gorgeous Effect. Today we are talking about payment plans. These little things that we use all the time in marketing that cause a lot of drama for our students. So let's dive in. Payment plans. Do you love them? Do you hate them? What are your questions around them? All that good stuff.
I used to hate them because of I don't know, it's almost like a scarcity mindset thing where when people didn't finish paying them, I felt like I was getting cheated and stolen from. So I used to hate them, but I have a much different outlook now.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk first what we mean when we say payment plan. And so we're talking about products that are one-time payments, meaning like not memberships, not retainers, not subscriptions, but courses mostly, sometimes services. And it's a one payment, whether it's $50 or $50,000, and then you break it up into payments for your customer so that they can pay over time. So traditionally speaking, when you do a payment plan, you do a premium upcharge, right? So if a product is $1,000, you are going to, on average, upcharge about 20%. So that would mean it's $1,200 if you break it up into a payment plan. And then you break it up over the number of months that, let's say, they're doing the product. So if you buy a $1,000 course and it's 6 months, you do a 6-pay and you do the 6-pay of $1,200, right? So it's 6 payments of $200. But over the past couple of years, especially in the last 2 years, from an economic standpoint, a trust standpoint, people have noticed that paying in full is harder to get. And so they need payment plans. And so some of the things that we're seeing now are extended pay plans that go longer than the duration of the product, and or reducing some of that premium upcharge when you offer a pay plan as an act of goodwill, right?
Yeah.
So what do you think? I mean, you were the one that kind of said, hey, Julie, we got to talk about pay plans. What do you think are people's hangups about pay plans from a business owner perspective, not a customer perspective, but from a business owner perspective?
Yeah, I think number one, they are worried about chasing somebody for payments. I think they're freaked out about that whole the whole idea, which is actually called dunning, when you have to message someone and say your payment failed, or something happened or whatever. Like going after the payment is called dunning, DUNNING. And there are services that do it. There are softwares that do it. There are people just emailing that do it. I would say that's probably the biggest fear, is trying to get the money from someone. And sometimes it's really just a simple mistake. Like sometimes my credit card will just be like, nope, just doesn't feel it like it that day or something, and for no reason at all, and I just have to retry it and then it works or something. So I think I wouldn't put too much stock in or too much negativity in that idea of having to recoup a payment. I think that's the biggest one. And to be fair, that does cost money. It does cost money for either, whether you're paying a software, or you have an employee, or you have a VA or whoever, or you have yourself. Your time and money is worth something, obviously. So it does cost money to get those things, but you always have to balance it with how many purchases, right? Like what purchases would I not get if I didn't have the payment? So it's really fuzzy in that, am I going to make more money if I do the payment plan, or am I going to make more money if I make people pay up front and not, do the payment plan?
Yeah. So the biggest objection, I think you're right, is this feeling of having to chase payments. So you're making a good point that the reason why we often charge a premium upcharge for a payment plan is to cover the costs of chasing payments, right? Whether it's software, employees, what have you. So that's why 20% is like a standard industry because we know that cards fail all the time for reasons that have nothing to do with them not wanting to pay you. It could just be the bank decides it's, sketchy or suspicious, or their card expires or gets lost or whatever. And so we factor that into the payment plan. So the big sort of aha, and you alluded to it at the beginning of this episode when you said I used to feel like I was getting cheated, and that's what a lot of people think when they offer these extended pay plans. The truth is that your conversion rate is going to be higher when you offer a payment plan than if you don't. So if you have $1,000 product, you could see up to 2, 3, even 4% higher conversion rate in your launch if you offer a payment plan than if you don't. And so if without a payment plan, you were going to get 50 sales or make $50,000, and with a payment plan, you're going to make $70,000, let's say. I mean, I'm just throwing numbers out there. You've gotten $20,000 more than you would have had you not offered it. So even if 10, 20, even 30% of people don't finish their pay plan or can't, get the payments done, you still have actually made more money than had you not offered one in the first place. Once you get that math, then you're like, okay, I get it.
It's worth also mentioning that there are these third-party tools like, Affirm and Klarna and Wise and all these that do all that for you. But I remember you just reminded me that we actually priced this out. We were looking into doing a tool like that where they basically take on the payments, they pay you, but they take a percentage off the top. And we actually had our CFO like price it out, like actually like, okay, what is our normal people that finish a payment plan versus how much they would take off the top? And we would actually lose money on taking off the top. I don't know if you remember that, but like we were looking at, I think it was Wise or something, but they, whatever they take, like let's say they take 20% or something. I don't know what they take, but that was more money taken than we were with just defaulting payment plans or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So that was like a huge eye opener to me because we actually did the numbers and we said, does this make sense? Because again, there is that security of like, oh, I'm just going to get the most money possible now. I don't have to fight anybody over it, whatever. But is it
Right.
worth losing $10,000, $20,000 plus? No.
I
Like
mean, I think
obviously.
the lesson is to do the math, right? And I think the math you can figure out the math of payment plans and the premium up charges or the transaction fees if you're using Afterpay or Klarna or any of those. But at the end of the day, like the one number that people can't seem to figure out is how many more people will buy if I offer a payment plan. That's the one number that I think gets fuzzy. And that's the one
Yeah,
number that
100%.
you have to think about because if we go out to market and we sell a $3,000 product and we don't offer a payment plan, we are going to get many less sales. And for a lot of folks who are trying to get their feet wet, they're trying to build an audience, they're trying to plant their flag. Like you really can't afford not to have a payment plan because you need as many buyers as possible. And so one of our one of my favorite free gifts that we give away is our perfect pay plan spreadsheet. I think so many people don't even know this exists. If you go to metricsmuse.com, this is our spreadsheet subscription. There's a free gift on that page, and it is a spreadsheet that helps you figure out your perfect pay plan amount. Because the next question, once they're like, okay, I believe you, I need to do a payment plan, whether I charge 10% or 20%, fine, is how many payments, right? Should I do a 3 pay, a 2 pay, a 9 pay? And so that's the next question. And that's what the spreadsheet is trying to do, is trying to help you figure out what a good pay plan length of time would be.
Yeah, and it's interesting what you said in the beginning about extended payment plans versus like paying over time during like during the actual program. And I think that like as you get like more comfortable with payment plans, you get a little more risky. So I don't know that I would tell like a brand new person, sure, do like a 12 pay, and just trust all your people or whatever, right? Like
Right.
because it is risky, because and especially if you have anything service based, right? If you're truly scalable and it doesn't matter if there's one person or 100 people, then I'm like you have nothing to lose with a
You have
payment
nothing to
plan
lose. Yeah.
because you're doing the same amount of work if it's one person or 100 people. Like even if you get two payments, that's still more than you would have zero payments, right? And so
Right.
so yes, there that depends. But again, I do think that we do things that are much riskier. So if you're looking at us as a business and going, they do that, maybe not. Maybe do their
Yeah.
spreadsheet and see how it works out because we even have moved to like a no upcharge model on some things. So like
Right.
that would be really scary if you weren't already like, established business and all that.
Now there are a couple payment plan lengths that I love, and then there are some that I don't like as much. Again, you have to know your specific situation. So back in the day when I was running my funnel for the digital guidebook, which was a $2,000 offer, it was an evergreen funnel, so I was getting a lot of cold traffic. And I started out with a 12 pay plan. And the problem with 12 pay plans, even though they're fantastic, is that people think it's a membership or they think it's a subscription. And so then they would write in and be like, I'm canceling my membership. I'm like, this isn't a membership. This is a 12 payments. So I switched it to a 9 pay because that psychologically doesn't like hit that part of the brain that's like, oh, I'm on a membership
Oh,
model. And so I did, it was a 1997 course and I did a 9 payments of 249, and that worked really, really well. So I always tell people if you want to do an extended pay plan, try the 9 pay and not the
yeah.
12 pay because you don't want people thinking you have a membership. The
Yeah, it
second
doesn't
thing,
sound like annual.
exactly. And the second thing I see people do is when they are like, okay, I'm going to do a pay plan, they're like, okay, it's $1,000 or 3 payments of 400, right? And it's like, that doesn't really feel like a deal because you have to think about what the actual pay plan amount is, right? And 400 is not quite as easy to swallow as like 199, right? And so in that case, I would say you're better off doing a 1 payment or a 6 pay and stop messing with this 3 pay. So I see a lot of people with that as well, where they just get nervous and they're like, "Oh, I'll do a 2 pay or a 3 pay," and I'm like, "Why?"
Yeah, I feel like we used to do two different kinds. We used to do like a 3 pay and a 12 pay or something. I feel like we've done options in the past, and maybe it's been years, but we don't do that anymore because it's just like too much. It's like too much math in people's heads,
Too
and
much
also,
decision making.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
just too. Yeah, if you're gonna cause somebody to pause and go, well, I don't know, do I want? Then it's like they're already thinking too much, and they might just say no, or they'll go, I'll just figure this out later, and then they don't. So I definitely wouldn't suggest to, but I see people still doing that, and I'm like, ah, gosh, you guys need to like update. That was like not that's not today's time. But I also do think that today's time literally is probably more payments. Like I have
for
heard
sure.
from other because we always pretty much always do a 12 pay at this point. But I do see some people say that, oh, I tried a 3 pay and it didn't work. I tried a 4 pay, it didn't work. I tried six and it didn't work. And they're like, do I just have to do 12? And we're kind of like, yeah, probably, maybe, it's just kind of 2025 times. But yeah, but definitely not two. Not don't do two different offerings. I mean, I don't really know why you would, but I just know we've done it before and I've seen other people still doing it. I wouldn't do that anymore.
Yeah, decision fatigue, right? So if you
Yeah.
are kind of new to the game, I like 1 payment and then I like a nice extended pay plan, usually 6, 9, somewhere in there works out well. And again, the spreadsheet that we give away on metricsmuse.com helps you see. And then you can kind of look and be like, all right, well, I could do it for 249 or I could do it for 199. You're going to choose the 199 because that's just like easier for people to understand, right? So you can kind of look at the payment plan amounts to see, what would be good. Now, the thing that you said about like too many payment options, I totally agree with. The only exception would be if you're running a launch and you have, a 1 payment and then you have 6 pay. And then at the very end of the launch, you want to open up an
Mm,
extended pay plan. We call that like a plot twist pay plan. You can do that because by then the majority of people will have already bought. And then that's sort of an extension for people
yeah.
who, can't afford it. That might be a difference.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, good point. I'm glad you thought of that because we have done that before. But again, it was like, okay, whoever didn't sign up for this one, maybe if you need more time, here's more time. So it's like it's not making a decision between the two. It's a final get off the fence kind of decision
Exactly.
as well. You just
Exactly.
reminded me, one of the big questions I remember we were getting on the payment plan was at what point do you need a payment plan? Like what price point?
Ah, yeah, that's a great question. I mean, really, QVC taught us you need a pay plan at any price point. Late
That's
night
true.
commercial TV.
That easy
Yeah,
pay
I
of
know.
just whatever.
But I would say in the online digital world, you're looking at, I think once you get to $297 or higher, I think it's worth it to offer some sort of payment plan. So that's kind of the line I think about, you know?
Yeah.
Um,
And I always think too, like, if someone we'll even like if someone like messages us or something and wants to make some sort of special payment arrangement, we don't do it really often, but every once in a while, especially if it's for something really big, we'll kind of work with people because why not? You know what I'm saying? Again, it's like if there's something you can do to make it easier on someone to join and like start to recoup their money back before they even have to finish paying, like why the frick not? Like of course, we're in this to help people. We're not just like this like evil corporation whatever, right? Like we do want to help people and just like get them. We want to get them into the program, whatever it takes usually. And so we're
it's
really
funny
open with that.
because I find a lot of people worry about these things before they happen. And I always tell people, like, if you have people knocking down your doors for alternate pay plans, like, this is a good problem to have. So it's like, don't borrow trouble, don't create rules. Like, if you see a company that's like, has like strict rules, chances are they sold so much that they found like where the ditch was on either side and they had to create that boundary. But you at the beginning, where you're trying to establish authority, like don't create boundaries that don't need to be there right now. Like it's a great problem to have if people are emailing you and saying, "Hey, I really want in, but I need an alternate payment plan." Like remove as much friction as possible to get the yes, especially in this economy.
I'm listening to myself and I'm thinking, man, just even a few years ago, I wouldn't believe what I'm saying right now because I was so much of that mindset of like, no, they're getting all my really good stuff. And like, no, they don't get it for free. Like there's these scammers out there. Like I used to be so scarcity. So it's just like me listening to myself, like 5-year-old me, like 5 years ago. I don't know, maybe not 5 years ago, maybe 8 years ago listening to
Yeah.
me say this of going, yeah, just work on a payment plan. Who cares? Like it's like so if you're that person that's freaking out about even the idea of like someone ripping you off, like just know once you start to let go of these things, it's like the abundance really does kind of come. And yes, there are people who are going to take advantage of it, but who
There
freaking
will
cares?
be.
There's
Yep.
more good people out there that are using it for like good, that are actually like just really just don't have the money or just don't want to put it on credit card and pay all these crazy percentages. There's more of those guys out there than there are the bad guys. So you just have to take it with,
Yeah. You have to
take the good with the
believe the
bad.
best. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, hopefully that's been helpful. Remember, you don't have to do what the big players are doing. You got to think clearly about where you are. Pay plans are an awesome idea. There's lots of different ways. Make sure to go to metricsmuse.com and get that free spreadsheet. And yeah, any questions about pay plans, hit us up on Instagram at Funnel Gorgeous. And we love answering student questions on this podcast. So thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us today. We're just getting started with this podcast, and we're so excited to have you on this journey with us. If you found value in today's episode, we'd be over the moon if you'd consider subscribing. It's like a virtual high five that keeps us going. And hey, if you're feeling extra gorgeous, leaving a review would mean the world to us. Your words not only make our day, but it also helps other amazing folks just like you find our show through your review. Lastly, if you know someone who could use a little sales pep talk, why not spread the love? Share this episode and let's grow this gorgeous community together.